Namo Buddhaya. The Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram, the large sutra on perfect wisdom, the chapter 43rd, Unthinkable. The remarks of cognition as regards the knowledge of the path. Thereupon all the gods of the realm of sense desire and of the realm of form in this great trichiliocosm scattered sandalwood powder came to where the Lord was, saluted the Lord's feet with their heads, stood on one side and said, Deep, O Lord, is the perfection of wisdom which is being revealed. Which, O Lord, are the marks of the deep perfection of wisdom? The cognition of emptiness. O Lord, emptiness, gods, is the mark of this deep perfection of wisdom. The cognition of the signless, cognition of the wishless and unaffectedness, cognition of nonproduction, cognition of nonstopping, cognition of nondefilement, cognition of nonpurification, cognition of non-existence, cognition of own being, absence of own being, having non-existence for own being, cognition of lack of support, cognition of having the mark of space. This the perfection of wisdom is marked like unto space. In this way, God's the perfection of wisdom is non-marked, and it has been verbally expressed by the Tathagata by way of worldly convention, but not by way of ultimate reality. Cognition of the nature of Dharma as undisturbed, as something that cannot be upset. Those marks cannot possibly be altered by the world with its gods, men, and asuras in mind, because that world with its gods, men, and asuras has also that very same mark. For a mark cannot alter a mark cannot wisely know a mark, nor can a mark wisely know a no mark, nor can a no mark wisely know a mark, nor can a no mark wisely know a no mark. Therefore, then, as to mark, no mark and mark, plus no mark, there is no possibility for them to be wisely known, nor can anyone wisely know them. Cognition of the unconditioned. Gods, these marks have not been brought about by form etc. They have not been brought about by the knowledge of all modes. For these marks are neither humans nor human, with or without outlaws. Worldly or supramental, conditioned or unconditioned, cognition of non-discrimination. And the Lord furthermore said to those gods of the realms of sense desire and of form, if someone were to say that space has some kind of mark, would he be speaking correctly? The gods no, Lord, because space is unconditioned, the Lord. Whether the Tathagatas are produced or not produced, as this markless element is established, as it is established, so the Tathagata has fully known it. Therefore is he called the Tathagata. Cognition of their distinctions between dharmas. The gods. These deep marks have been fully known by the Tathagata because of his full knowledge of them. There persists the Tathagata's unattached vision and cognition, and having stood in these marks, the Tathagata has revealed all the marks. It is because on the non-attachment of the perfection of wisdom that the Lord has revealed the marks. It is wonderful to see how the deep perfection of wisdom is the range of the Tathagata's course, and in which the Tathagata has fully known the supreme enlightenment, and thereafter has made a distinction between all marks, between the marks of all dharmas like form, etc. Cognition of the absence of mark. The Lord. The Tathagata has fully known the markless of form marked by molesting, being liable to destruction. And so, with feeling marked by experience and perception marked by taking up, the impulses marked by together making, consciousness marked by recognition, the perfection of giving marked by renunciation, the perfection of morality marked by celibacy, the perfection of patience marked by immovability, the perfection of vigor marked by uncrushability, the perfection of concentration marked by comprehension, the perfection of wisdom marked by non-attachment, the four trances, the four unlimited, the four formless attainments marked by immovability, the 37 dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment marked by leading forth. Emptiness is a door to deliverance marked by detachment. The signless is a door to deliverance marked by quiet calm. The wishless is a door to deliverance marked by the removal of suffering. The deliverance is marked by delivering, the powers marked by being well determined, the grounds of self-confidence marked by being well established, the analytical knowledges marked by being indestructible, The great friendliness marked by providing what is beneficial, the great compassion marked by protection, the great sympathetic joy marked by rejoicing, the great impartiality marked by non-commingling. The 18 special Buddha Dharmas marked by being something to which no one else has a claim, and the cognition of the knowledge of all modes marked by being before the eye. It is that the Tathagata has fully known all dharmas as unmarked, and that is why the Tathagata is called the one who has the cognition of non-attachment. The marks of cognition as regards the knowledge of all modes, the cognition of the fact that the Buddha dwells as one who has taken recourse to his own Dharma. The Lord, the perfection of wisdom, Subhuti, is the genetrics of the Tathagata. The perfection of wisdom instructs him in this world. For this reason, the Tathagata dwells taking recourse to this Dharma. The cognition of honoring, he honors that Dharma. The cognition of valuing greatly, values it greatly. The cognition of revering, reverse. The cognition of worship, and worships it, the perfection of wisdom. This is the Dharma, the perfection of wisdom which the Tathagata honors, values greatly, reverses, and worships. And why? Because it is from this perfection of wisdom that the Buddhas, the Lords, manifest themselves. Grateful is the Tathagata, the Arhata, the fully enlightened Buddha. Thankful is the Tathagata, the Arhata, the fully enlightened Buddha. Rightly would he speak, who would say to the Tathagata that he is grateful and thankful. And how is the Tathagata grateful and thankful? The Tathagata honors, values greatly, reveres, and worships, favors, and cherishes that vehicle on which he has come, and that progressive path by which he has won full enlightenment, the cognition of the absence of imagine. Moreover, the Tathagata has relied on the signless of all dharmas, fully known all dharmas, as not made on account of the non-beingness of an agent. He has fully known them as not unmade or on account of the non-beingness of their suppression. This also, Subhuti, should be seen as the gratitude and thankfulness of the Tathagata. Thanks to the perfection of wisdom, he has fully known the inactivity of all dharmas, the cognition which reaches everywhere. Moreover, it is thanks to the perfection of wisdom that the Tathagata's cognition has proceeded in all dharmas as unmade, as though really it has not proceeded, and the proceeding is only a matter of convention. In this way, the perfection of wisdom is the genetrics of the Tathagata instructs him in this world. Cognition that the Buddha can show that which is imperceptible, Subhuti. If all dharmas, O Lord, are unknowable and imperceptible, how can the perfection of wisdom be the genetrics of the Tathagata and his instructress in this world? The Lord, so it is. All dharmas are unknowable and imperceptible. And why are they so? Because all dharmas are empty, worthless, insignificant, void, and insubstantial. In this way, all dharmas are unknowable and imperceptible. Moreover, Subhuti, all dharmas are unknowable and imperceptible because they are unsupported and unincluded. In this, thus, that the perfection of wisdom is the genetics of the Tathagata and his instructress in this world, and she is an instructress because form, etc., to the knowledge of all modes cannot be viewed. It is thus that the perfection of wisdom is the Tathagata's genetics and his instructress in this world, Subhuti. How does she become the instructress? Through the non-viewing of form, etc., the Lord. Where Subhuti, there arises an act of consciousness which has none of the skandhas for an objective support. There she becomes an instructress through an unviewing of the world. It is thus the Subhuti that this deep perfection of wisdom is the genetics of the Tathagata and his instructors in the world, the cognition of the world from the point of view of emptiness. Furthermore, how is the perfection of wisdom the genetics of the Tathagata and his instructors in the world? Here, the perfection of wisdom indicates that the world is empty. And why does she do so? Here in the world, the 5 skandhas are empty, the 12 sense fields are empty, etc., to the knowledge of all modes is empty. It is thus that the perfection of wisdom is the genetics of the Tathagata and his instructors in this world. Cognition of the fact that the Buddha can indicate the world's emptiness. How does the perfection of wisdom show up the world is empty? Cognition of the fact that the Buddha can make known the world's emptiness. Cognition of the fact that he can show up the world's emptiness. She shows up the fact that the world and the 5 skandhas are empty. It is thus that the perfection of wisdom is the Tathagata's genetics and his instructors in the world. cognition of the unthinkability. Moreover, the perfection of wisdom shows up to the Tathagata the world as unthinkable. How? It shows up that the five skandhas are the world which is unthinkable. Moreover, the perfection of wisdom shows up to the Tathagata the world. In other words, the five skandhas is isolated as absolutely empty as empty of own being, as empty through the non-existence of own being. The cognition of quiescence. Moreover, the perfection of wisdom shows up to the Tathagata the world of the five skandhas as calmly quiet, the cognition of the cessation of the world. Moreover, the perfection of wisdom shows up to the Tathagata the world of the five skandhas as just emptiness, the cognition of the cessation of the perception of the world. And again, how does this deep perfection of wisdom show up the world? So that no perception of this world or the other world takes place. And why? Because those dharmas do not exist through which a perception of this world or a perception of the other world could take place. The distinctive marks. Acceptance of cognition of dharma in suffering, unthinkability, subhuti. For the sake of a great performance, O Lord, has this perfection of wisdom been set up for the sake of an unthinkable, incomparable, immeasurable, and equal to the unequal, incalculable performance. The Lord. So it is, Subhuti, so it is. And how has the perfection of wisdom been set up as a great performance? It is a great performance on the part of the Tathagatas that they protect all beings and do not abandon them. And how has the perfection of wisdom been set up as an unthinkable performance? Unthinkable is Buddhahood, Tathagatahood, self-existence, and the state of all knowledge. In this way has the perfection of wisdom been set up for an unthinkable performance of the part of the Tathagatas, the Arhats, the fully enlightened Buddhas. Cognition of Dharma in suffering, incomparability. And how has the perfection of wisdom been set up for an incomparable performance? There is no being whatsoever among those who are comprehended under the term beings who would be able to think Buddhahood, Tathagatahood, self-existence, and the state of all knowledge, or to compare it. Acceptance of the subsequent cognition of suffering immeasurability. And how has the perfection of wisdom been set up for an immeasurable performance? The Buddhahood, Tathagatahood, self-existence, and state of all knowledge of the Tathagatas is immeasurable and cannot be measured by anyone. Subsequent cognition of suffering and incalculability. And how has the perfection of wisdom been set up for a performance which equals the unequal? Because nothing can be quite equal to the Tathagatas, the Arhats, the fully enlightened ones. How much less can anything be superior to them? Subhuti. And then Buddhahood, Tathagatahood, self-existence, and the state of all knowledge, unthinkable, incomparable, immeasurable, and equal to the unequal, the Lord. Yes, they are, and so are also form, etc., to all knowledge. All dharmas, in fact, are unthinkable, immeasurable, and equal to the unequal. With regard to the dharmahood of all dharmas, no thought, and no dharmas belonging to thought can be apprehended. Form also as unthinkable, etc., cannot be convinced, and so up to the knowledge of all modes, Subhuti. For what reason can form, etc., as unthinkable, etc., not be conceived? The Lord, because with regard to form, etc., one cannot conceive of the thinking, the comparing, the measuring, the equality or inequality, Subhuti. And for what reason is that so? The Lord, because also of form, etc., the own being is unthinkable, etc. What do you think, Subhuti? Can form, etc., be apprehended in what is unthinkable, etc.? Subhuti, no, Lord. In that manner, all dharmas are unthinkable, etc. And these Tathagata dharmas of the Tathagata are unthinkable, etc. They are unthinkable because thinking has ceased and been transcended, comparing and measuring have ceased and been transcended equally and inequally have ceased and been transcended. Unthinkable, that is a synonym of incomparable, etc. These Tathagata dharmas of the Tathagata are unthinkable because space is unthinkable and incomparable. Because space is incomparable, etc. This also is of the Tathagata unthinkability, incomparability, immeasurability, and inequality to the unequal, which cannot be thought or compared by the world with its God, man, and asuras. Thus are the Buddhas immeasurable, thus are the Buddha Dharmas immeasurable. When this chapter on the Tathagata's unthinkability was being taught, the minds of 500 monks were freed without further clinging from the outlaws, and so were the minds of 2,000 nuns, 6,000 lay brethren obtained, with regard to Dharma as the pure, dispassionate, and stained Dharma eye. 20,000 bodhisattvas want the passion acceptance of dharmas which fail to be produced, and the Lord has predicted that they will become Buddhas in this very Bhadrakalpa. This is the end of 43rd chapter of the large Sutra on Perfect Wisdom, the Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram.